there's players out of contract for Newcastle next season. So this is your last opportunity to cash in. So would you cash in this summer? Would you let them run their contract down? What would you do? Okay, so first one is Callum Wilson. He's 32 now. He'll be 33 next season. What would you do this summer?
I would let him go. As I say, he's injury prone. I think we've got Isak now, who's arguably a better striker now. He's just obviously gets injuries all the time. I would just let him go.
Yeah, I'm the same. It's disappointing because I love Wilson. He's been absolutely superb for her, and you know, it showed last week against Burnley when you play the two of them together. They can play together as well. But I think you've got to let him go, to be honest with you. Age, and we can upgrade him.
Firstly, Wilson. He's 32. He'll be 33 next season. What would you do this summer?
Cash in.
Cash in?
Cash in. Made of glass, so you got to get rid of him now.
And it's Callum Wilson. He's 32. He will be 33 next season. Would you cash in on him this summer? Would you let him run his contract down? What would you do?
If we get over £15 million from him, I would cash in. If we get less than that, I would keep him. To answer your question straight away. Yeah. It's a tricky one, Wilson, because he's older, injury prone. I can't see many teams wanting to pay much money for him. So if it's anything less than £10 million, it's not worth selling for me. So I would rather invest in the third striker if it was a case where we're not going to get much for him. Then the flip side, if you're going to get money for this guy, it has to be now. So that's a hard one, Wilson. I would probably be more reluctant to keep if we don't get much money for him.
Yeah, if the price is right, I think FFP, 15, 20 million quid, move on. But I think he's been great for us, great servant.
I mean, he is an adopted local lad. He does suffer. He has suffered with a lot of injuries, and like you say, he is getting on. But if they did sell him, it would be a loss. But we have plenty of we do have up and coming cover, and we can score goals. We have proven we can score goals when he's not in the team. So.
Would you sell him in the summer, or would you let him keep his contract?
Got
to be anyhow.
I mean, I know Eddie would like to keep him, but
he is very loyal. We've seen this in the past. He's very loyal to his players.
I'd be honest, if someone came in with a decent bid, it's money towards shoring up some more places in the rest of the team. Because we are quite capable of scoring goals now at the moment. So, although having an extra strike is helpful, but we need cover in defence as well.
So you're going for sell then?
I'd say sell. Yeah.
Right, okay, so Trippier, he's 33 right now. He's 34 next season. What would you do if you're Eddie Howe this summer?
I'd move on. Again, Fabian when he came in, it's what we needed.
Yeah.
Like Livermento, Lewis Hall, I think cash in now and move the wages on.
Yeah, you would, because obviously he did have that little drop in a lot of mistakes this season. Do you think that was literally just a bit of form, or do you think that's it, the decline, or how do you see that?
I think he's just getting a bit older, a bit knackered, bless him. He's playing so much football. He's such a leader in the group, which is brilliant. That's hard to replace, I get that. But I think with FFP, if we can get a few million quid for him, 120 grand a week off the wage bill, it's worth doing. And then we got
Trippier. 33 this season, he'll be 34 next season. What would you do in the summer with him?
Definitely keep Trippier. He was the one that came in to start the takeover. First one in, massive gamble for him to do that. He clearly enjoys his time here. He had the chance to potentially go to Bayern in January. As far as I'm aware, on the player side of things, he was happy staying at Newcastle. He's happy with what the club wants to do. So for me, he's got so much experience. He's the sort of player in your dressing room that if you've got to win anything, he's the sort of guy who's going to do it for you. He's a quality player. And for me, you definitely keep him at least an eye, yeah. Do
you think he'll go on beyond next year? Because obviously he's had made a lot of cock-ups this season and stuff. Is it just because of his form, or do you reckon it's because of his age, or what? And then also, do you think he'll join the coaching staff as well? Because he's obviously got that leadership mentality. He loves Eddie Howe. He's signed him twice.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know obviously you look back at Trippier, but you remember the Everton game, the Chelsea one, especially Carabao Cup, and he just throws the game away. I mean, at that stage of the season, he's playing 3 times a week. He's playing every single match.
And he was as well.
It's a lot for a player of his age. You do have to remember, like Livermento are obviously there to be used. They're there to help the likes of Trippier play less and to adapt more to the team. As long as we'll have the balance next season where we play Trippier a decent amount of the time and not just throwing him in every single game, especially with European football, just have that balance there. He's a top player. I mean, look at assists for Trippier. He's got double figures in assists. He was only available like 2/3 of the season or something. So he's a brilliant player, brilliant set piece taker. He's one of the best in Newcastle. He's definitely the best right back we've ever had for one. So you definitely would keep an eye. Yeah.
What would you do this summer?
I think we've got to keep him. I think he's obviously been injured this season, so I haven't seen a lot of him. But I think he's our captain at the end of the day. I think Lascelles might go at the end, but I think he's our captain. We've got to keep him.
Yeah, even just to be around the club, he's obviously top notch with the younger players and what have you. So even if it's going to be more of a coach and behind the scenes role kind of thing, got to keep him.
Kieran Trippier, 33, be 34 next season. What would you do?
You got to let him run his contract out. I think
Does he deserve that, do you think?
Yeah, he'd be vital. I mean, imagine if we can get him in on the coaching side of things. It would be sensational if we could do
My
that.
shout in the last
Yeah, exactly. If we can somehow get him there, then it would be amazing.
And then we got Trippier, so he's 33 this season, he's out of contract next season. 34, what would you do?
I'll be honest, I would like Trippier. I'll keep Trippier. He was one of the first players that came when we were looking potentially at relegation. So, and he didn't come for glory or money or any other reason. He came because he wanted to do something and help. So, given my choice, I would keep Trippier and let him retire at the club.
Yeah, would you keep him on some sort of coaching role or something? He does seem that leadership.
It would be good. Yeah, you could probably get him certainly through some coaching badges and find him a job at the club.
And then Dan Burn, 32, be 33 next season.
I think he hasn't been. I think he's been quite good this season when he's just came in at centre back. At left back, I don't think he's a great player, to be honest with you. But I think we should keep him this season, maybe, and see how he goes.
Yeah, I'll keep him. He's good cover. He's not going to be in the first 11 next season, I wouldn't have thought. But the fact.
And then Dan Burn, 32 now, 33 next season.
I definitely keep Dan Burn. I suppose his quality as a centre half. I can't stand him as a left back. He's a bit like Marmite. I hate him as a left back, and I love him as a centre half. So for me, he's good. Dan Burn, you watch him at centre half this season. He's solid. He's good on the board. He's someone there that you have a good back line alongside him. He's that player that is good. So for me, good centre half. Do not play him left back, for the love of God, please.
You know what? He was heavily criticised by Newcastle fans for left back stuff. We just spoke to Brighton fans literally just before this and stuff. We asked them, "You've seen him? Is he better left back or centre back?" They said centre back 100%. Has he nailed this position down? I know he's only getting it because of injuries, but has he impressed you?
Yeah, he has impressed me actually. Him and Krafth both impressed us. You think on paper when these two are centre halves, you think, what's going on here? But both of them are good. Both naturally full-backs going into centre halves, and they're both good centre halves as well. So it's just the squad that Newcastle have in the team. Really, it's not just about having players. The actual players that we have, a lot of them can play multiple positions, so it works quite well. But again, it has to be centre half for me. If you're starting Dan Burn left back, I'm going to scream. Just don't do it. Lewis Hall was good. Livermore was good. Trippier was good. We'll play one of those three left back we have to. But Dan Burn for me is a good centre half.
And then Dan Burn, 32 now, 33 next summer.
3-year contract, love Dan Burn. I love him to bits. And I think, again, centre back, left back, he can do all that sort of thing. He's a great squad player to have around. And even if he's not playing, I think he adds so much to the leadership team in that group, being from Newcastle as well.
Yeah, so just let him run his contract down then. And then you've got Dan Burn, 32 now, 33 next season.
Got to keep him just for the depth. Yeah, you got to give him another contract or just keep him on a bit longer. He'll turn into like the Paul Dummett, I think, after a while. He'll probably end his career here. So a bit of a Paul Dummett, Jamal Lascelles kind of on the fringe, ready to come in if he needs to be.
The next one, Dan Burn. So he's 32 right now. He'll be 33 next season. What would you do?
It's hard. Yeah, Dan Burn is the through and through local lad, and I think if the club were to sell him, it would be probably devastating for him.
Yeah.
Because
what he wants, isn't he? He's always wanted to play.
It's been his dream since a child to play for Newcastle. So if Newcastle say, "Dan, you're out," we'll sign somebody else.
Yeah. So what would you do? Would you keep him then for that sort of loyalty?
I'll be honest, at the situation now, I would probably keep him. Obviously with Botman with a long-term injury, he plays well in the centre. So if we get Trippier back, he can stay in the centre with Schar. So I would keep Dan Burn as well.
We've got Fabian Schar as well, 32, has just signed a year extension, so he'll be 33 next season. Yeah. Would you let him run that down and then just look to move him on because he's 33 or what?
No, I'll keep him. I think he's got another 2 years in him, I think.
Yeah.
Again, a great squad player. I think they'll probably sign somebody else, and I think Botman's there to stay. But again, he's just being a great professional. You know, probably, I think it was Brucey. Was it Brucey signing? Yeah. Best sign I think Brucey made, and with Wilson as well, I think.
Yeah. And then the next one's a no-brainer. Fabian Schar. He was given a 1-year contract. He's 32, he'll be 33. Presumably he just stays.
100%. Wow, what a bargain. He was £3 million. He's got so many years out of him. Class player. He's technically quite good in the ball as well. You see his passing, his finishing, just everything about him. He's just a calm, collected player, and I like him a lot. Shame that he got injured because I do like Fabian Schar. Him and Botman is a brilliant duo. So. We do need to buy, we definitely need to buy, but you would keep Schar. I think eventually he's probably one that you'd look at the next year or two, potentially letting go, because he is getting a bit older now. He's always someone that niggles with injuries though. He always plays through injuries, and he's someone that you're going to need squad depth alongside him now. We need a few centre halves in.
And we've got Fabian Schar, 32, be 33 next season. This one's probably a no-brainer because we have just offered him a year extension.
Yeah, definitely keep him.
For how much we paid for him, you know, it's unbelievable. You've got to keep him high.
And then we've got Lascelles. So Lascelles is one of the younger ones so far. He's 30 now, so he'll be 31 next season. He's obviously had to come in when there was injuries. He did seem to be impressive. A lot of fans had him wrote off, thinking he was a championship guy. He's done really well. What would you do?
I would sell him.
Sell, yeah.
Yeah.
Instant. That was the quickest one.
I think Lascelles is a good player, but I think with where the club's wanting to go, he's not a championship player, but he is a good quality player, but just not for what the future's.
And then Lascelles, so he's 30, he'll be 31 next season.
I think cash in. I think he's been a great servant to the club, but I think now he's probably about 4th or 5th choice. And I think now it's time to cash in and let him be a captain somewhere else.
He got a lot of game time this season through injury as well. When you've seen him, what did you make of his performances?
Mixed, I think. Okay. I'm never sold confidence with him at the back. I think he's not the best playing out with his feet, and that's now how we play. It's not just about lumbing it forward. But again, he's been a great servant to the club, and I feel bad saying that, especially on camera. But you know,
it's all age as well. It comes down to it. So a lot of these are the older players who are retired. You mentioned Jamal Lascelles. He's next. He's 30, so he'll be 31. He's one of the youngest on this list. What do you do?
Cash in. I think you might get a canny bit, a fair amount from like a championship team.
Lascelles, he's 30. He'll be 31 next season.
Yeah, as I say, I think we've got to let him go. I think he's been great for. He's been that captain. He's kind of the mould of the team. Really, just keep them all together. But I think his age is getting on now. I think he could do a bit better in a championship team or even lower than that maybe.
I think similar to Trippier, he's good on the club and what have you. But the difference with Lascelles is he could go. He's only 30, I think you said, didn't you? So he could go somewhere else and still get a good few years in him. I would let him go, but he's been a very good servant. Like.
As for Lascelles, I mean, he's already got an extension going next season, but he's someone where he's not meant to be a starting player. He's not there to be in the starting 11. He's there for squad depth. He's there just to be in the dressing room, have some numbers there. He's good. I mean, you dumped him in the deep end at bottom towards his ACL. I mean, yes, after a few games, so he did start to struggle, but he does a job. Like, that's the sort of player he wants. Someone who gives 100%, goes in for tackles, not scared of anything. He's a good player. Like, honestly, again. I might sound a bit positive towards his players, but I would keep him another season. I think he deserves to be here another season. So for me, Lascelles, he had to stay another year, but you'd obviously be there as a maybe 4th choice as well.
He seems to be happy to sit on the bench as well. Them players are invaluable. You need them. Next players. Is Krafth, who's 29 now, 30 next season. He's come in recently through injuries and stuff. What have you thought of him, and what would you do with him?
Well, I know I said it's every single player, so but again with Krafth, I'd probably keep him. Like honestly, this guy came at centre half. He's good. Right back, he's not the best player in the world, but again, a bit like Lascelles, he's not there at start. He's there for the squad depth. Obviously, for the next 2 seasons or so, you will bring a lot more players in. So, if it's a case where we bring an extra centre half in, an extra right back in, then maybe it might be time to let him go. But in terms of what I've seen on the pitch, he's still doing like again. For me, I would keep him there in the team. He's our player's probably happy to kind of just sit amongst the club. He's someone that, as long as until we get the depth there, I would still keep him.
Krafth is 29, he'd be 30 next season. What would you do? Would you cash in this summer? Would you let him run his contract down?
I'm actually quite impressed with him the last few games. I think he's come in, he's done a good job. Especially I think in the League Cup against Man United, we beat them 3-1. He was brilliant. Maybe another 2 years for him, I think. Yeah, good squad player options again. Yeah.
30 next season then.
I mean,
has he impressed you the last couple of games? Because we've not really seen him for a while. He's played the last couple.
He's done all right, but he has had a few slip-ups. But then you can put that down to him not having game time, so he's putting up speed. But I would probably sell him.
And then Krafth, 29, he'd be 30 next season.
Cash in.
Cash in.
Yeah, cash in. I mean,
he's played the last couple of games. Have you been impressed? Do you think we just need him to improve that position?
I was at Burnley. I was surprised by him. I was a bit concerned at first, but no. After that, he's good. Like but I'd still cash in.
And then we've got Krafth, 29, he'd be 30 next season. He's had a couple of recent game time because of injuries.
Yeah, I think the recent game time he's had, I think he's been a very good player at centre back, and I think he's done well for kind of not expecting to come in this soon. I think we should probably keep him again just for cover, for like a centre back or right back, because he can cover them 2 positions. But I think we should keep him.
This is where I think we need to upgrade. If we're looking to be in the top 4 or 5 places, again, I like Krafth. I think he's a good player, but he's the kind of player we need to improve on. You know, if we're looking to get better, we're looking to push on and stay in that top sort of 4 or 5 teams in the league. he's the kind of player who I think we can get better than. So I'll probably get
Natural evolution of the club, sort of thing. Yeah, we got Longstaff, 26. He'll be 27 next season.
Yeah, I think the recent games that he's been playing, he hasn't been great, has he? I think we'll all agree on that. But
Just Eddie Howe did say he's playing through injury. Do you factor that in or not, or how do you see it?
yeah, I mean, he might be playing through injury. We don't know with Eddie Howe does he do it. But I think he's a Geordie. You know what I mean? We've got to keep him, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing. Homegrown, you've got to start keeping your homegrown. You've got to think of the FFP and all that kind of stuff. And I think as a homegrown player, again, I wouldn't want to see him first choice next season, but as a cover for the midfield position, then yeah, I'll probably keep him just because of the fact that he's from here and his age.
Do you think Miley and Anderson next season have kind of jumped ahead of him, or where do you see Sean Longstaff in the pecking order? Because obviously we've got Tonali as well.
Yeah, I think Anderson's come on a lot. I think a couple of seasons ago he was looking quite not as strong, and now he's put on a bit of muscle and he's kind of putting a shift about in the midfield. I think he's a great player. I think we should keep him for quite a long time. Miley again, I know he's injured, but I think he's a cracking player and he's very good.
So would you put Longstaff at the bottom of that list then, or where?
That's a difficult one. That I think.
It is, yeah.
Well, Longstaff's experienced. I think them two aren't experienced as Longstaff, but somewhere in the middle.
I would put him at the bottom. I would have at the minute, just age-wise, Anderson's probably, to me, if you're thinking Bruno, Joe Linton, Tonali as a midfield three, Anderson to me would be the next one in there.
You got Willock as well. I totally forgot. About
Totally,
him. Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
So stop.
No, and that's the thing with injuries this season. You kind of forget about a lot of players. Barnes came back, and you'd kind of forgotten about him. When he came back. So yeah. I mean, I think Anderson is top of those three. Longstaff's bottom. Put Louis in the middle.
It would be nice for him to stay because he does work hard, but that midfield's getting a bit crowded.
Especially with all the rest of Miley and stuff coming in, Anderson and stuff.
And I just don't. When the season starts next season, we've got Tonali back and everyone's fit. I can see him playing in certain games, but I can't see him having a full-time position in the squad. Yeah. He is good cover, but if it's worth signing someone better somewhere else, then I think he might have to go.
Perfect. And then the last one on the list is the Bravka. He's 35. He'll be 36 next season. He's had a lot of minutes this season through injury. Will he want to stick around firstly next season to be number 2? And what would you do with him as well?
I think the Bravka will go. I don't see the Bravka staying. He's been quite vocal about wanting to be number 1 at Newcastle. He said his last season and jumped ship Man U, where he was also number 2 there, so it didn't work out for him. He then came back in, and to his credit, obviously Nick Pope got injured. He's had some good games for Newcastle. Derby was quite good. He had some good ones against the likes of Liverpool City, where we still lost the games, but it wasn't his fault. He had quite a good match in those aspects. But in all honesty, he's 35. I think he's inconsistent. He's terrible distribution-wise. He's awful in crosses. His communication with the centre-halves always seems to be dodgy. He's not worth keeping him. He's 35 now. He's been here a long time. He probably wants to go himself, so it's got the guy. Let's get a younger goalkeeper and let's just get some actual talent in that goalkeeper spot.
That would be my follow-up then. So if you are getting rid of him and stuff like that, would you fetch another keeper in to be Nick Pope's understudy, or would you be one that's going to be first choice?
It's hard. That is hard. I love Nick Pope. I do. I think he is up there with the best in the league. The way he was.
Does the injury worry you, or is that just a one-off? Do you think?
Nah, what he was his. He just clearly showed, didn't he? With that, we really obviously got to be careful as a goalkeeper because he's got to use his shoulders as low. It's not like an outfield player. I don't know, but I would say no at the minute. I don't think it would be a reoccurring thing, but it's obviously we'll see as time progresses whether that will be an issue or not. I like Nick Pope a lot. It's tricky though because you've got a player like Aaron Ramsdale available. Obviously Arsenal going to want a lot of money for him, but you just can't bring him in because it's got the 2 players on one of your first choice. It's just not going to work. So with Newcastle, you're either going to have to get rid of Pope and then bring another top goalkeeper in, which is unlikely, or 2, you keep Nick Pope and bring in an understudy goalkeeper over him. So it's a tricky balance. For me, to be honest, I would sell Dubravka. Karius is going to go as well, so I think those 2 will go. We're bringing a second goalkeeper, and Gillespie's going to somehow go third in the rankings now, so he's going to somehow shoot up a little bit, but that's what
I think it's an interesting one. I think before he went to Man United on loan, I thought it was brilliant for us, Dubravka. And again, he stepped in really well. I think Pope had a difficult start to the season, so I think it's a good fight for number 1. And maybe it's time for one of them to go and someone new to come in, like obviously Ramsdale coming and something like that. But no, I think he's a great servant, and probably looking at our backup this season where we've had issues with goalkeepers, having Curious come in and Gillespie haven't made an appearance yet, I think try and keep both of them if we can.
Nah,
No.
he's gone.
You think he's gone?
I think it's best to get rid of him, to be honest. I love him. He's been a great servant at the club. I'll never forget the Valentine's Day game against Man United, his debut. Amazing, but now we're more progressive. Dubravka does a lot of the time, picks the ball up and waits. Lets everyone get back in position and it winds me up. But get rid of him.
So if you're getting rid of Dubravka, you'd have to fetch another keeper in. Would you fetch another keeper to be number 2, or would you fetch one to be ahead of Nick Pope?
Ramsdale.
Ramsdale, and where would you put him ahead? Have to be really if he's coming.
Yeah, I mean, he's behind at the minute in Arsenal, so who knows? I mean, it might be one of those where it's a constant switch, kind of like they did, really. I mean, I don't know if it's great for morale or the team, but he's probably bringing Ramsdale if we could.
Who would you start then if it comes down next season? You're saying them. Who's your number 1 keeper?
Ramsdale just for his distribution, I think. Yeah, I love Pope, probably one of the best shot stoppers in the league, but his distribution's not there.
Will he want to go, do you think?
I don't think he will want to go.
Okay.
Obviously, there's rumour of getting rid of Clavius, so that would be. I'd rather sell him, to be honest, than Dubravka. I would like to keep Dubravka because he has proven that he is a quality goalkeeper to step in when there is injuries, or even to give Pope a rest.
And last one we've got here, the last player who's out of contract next season is Dubravka. So he's 35 now, he'll be 36 next season. This is kind of split into 2 questions. Will he be happy next season to stay at Newcastle if he's told you're back to number 2? And would you move him on? What would you do?
I think he's a great backup keeper. I think he's up there in the top 5 backup keepers in the league. I think if Pope gets injured, I'm not as worried anymore that we've got Dubravka to back him up. I think he's been great this season when Pope has been injured, but I would like to see him stay in Newcastle. Yeah.
Do you reckon he would stay if he's getting told you're number 2? Or?
Yeah, I think he would. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his age, he's got to probably think about moving on for his own sort of playing time, especially with him being international keeper as well. But I'm the same. Like, to be honest with you, I think we've got 2 good keepers, and I'm actually surprised we're being linked with keepers because obviously we've got a few links to other keepers. But to me, I wouldn't be bothered at all if we're going next season with the same 2. Whether he stays or not, because I know Karius wants to be away, doesn't he? Gillespie signing a new contract. I would like to keep them both, and I would hope he would stay because he's been here long.
If we do have to sell Dubravka, if he wants to leave or whatever, if we fetch another keeper in, would it be someone who goes ahead of Nick Pope, or would it be someone who's happy to be number 2?
I think Nick Pope's a great keeper. I think Dubravka, he's been good. If he does leave, I think we should sign a player who's... I think when you look at Arsenal, they've got Rhea and Ramsdale, probably arguably just as good as each other. I think we should do that. Get a player, like a keeper who's just as good as Nick Pope, who can play instead of Nick Pope, even if Nick Pope's fit. But I think we should. I don't think we should get better than Nick Pope. I think we should just drop a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's hard to get better than Nick Pope. I know he's obviously been criticised for his feet, ball at his feet and what have you. But I don't think we necessarily need a keeper like that. In all honesty, I know a lot of clubs go that way, but we try and push high out the pitch, so we shouldn't be using our keeper as much as maybe his other teams. I'm happy with Nick Pope, and then somebody of Dubravka's quality as a backup. To be fair.